everyone, and welcome to On the Fly.
Alright, so we're obviously not the person that you usually see in these videos, but we are two diehard Leaf fans, and we are here to discuss part 28 of the Swiping to Seattle series, the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Now, the Toronto Maple Leafs did finish with a very impressive record. 35-14-7, finishing first in the North Division. This is a drought that the Leafs were looking to end for a very long time.
So in the first round of the playoffs, the Maple Leafs played the 4th seed in the North Division, the Montreal Canadiens. They got off to a really good start. They were the better team, and they eventually went up to take a 3-1 series lead after winning Game 4 in Montreal. They went back to Toronto, lost Game 5 in overtime, did the same thing in Game 6 back in Montreal, lost in overtime, and then in typical Leafs fashion, completed the choke in Game 7 back in Toronto.
It's very disappointing for us Leaf fans, but we have this group has so much potential. We can't give up on this group. They have a very bright future. That's just according to Leaf fans. You may think differently. But now let's take a quick look at the team, starting with the forwards. Captain John Tavares, who is currently under the no movement clause. Next off, we have Austin Matthews, Mitchell Marner, William Nylander, Alexander Kerfut, Wayne Simmons, Pierre Engel, and Jason Spezza, who fall under the 2 forward expose requirement. Next off, we have Joey Anderson and Adam Brooks, who did not meet the games played required. Next off, we have Nick Patan and Dennis Malgin, who are currently RFAs this offseason.
Alright, so let's take a look at the defense now. So we've got Jake Muzzin, Morgan Reilly, TJ Brody, Justin Hall, and Travis Dermott, and they fall under the 1D exposure requirement. And then lastly, we've got the goalies, Jack Campbell, Michael Hutchison, and Freddie Anderson, who is a UFA. So now we have an idea of the Toronto Maple Leafs and their players. Let's take a look at who they're going to be protecting for the draft. So first up, for the forwards, we've got John Tavares. Great player, lots of skill and talent. He's a great leader. He's going to lead them to a championship one day, hopefully keeping him with his no movement clause as well. Next up, we've got Austin Matthews. Generational player, dangerous goal scorer. Every time he's on the ice, if you're his opponent, you're worried. He's a great player. Obviously keeping Austin Matthews. He's a top 3 player in the league.
Now moving on to Mitchell Marner. Now, as we all know, he did not have an impressive playoff performance. It was very disappointing to watch as Leaf fans. However, this does not take away how good of a season he had. One of the leading point scorers in the league. If he continues to progress the way he has, he will be a very essential player in this Leafs core. He stays. William Nylander. However, this is the opposite situation. He had a very, very essential playoff performance. He had 5 goals and 8 points in only the first round. And if he continues to progress like these forwards have, he will be a very, very important player for the future of this Toronto Maple Leafs core. So he will stay.
Now we move on to the defense. So first off, we got Jake Muzzin. He's been a solid defenseman for the Toronto Maple Leafs for the last year and a little bit, or 2 years, I believe. He's a physical player, and he's got a good shot when he uses it. Keep Jake Muzzin. Next up, we've got Morgan Reilly. He's a great puck-moving defenseman. He's an offensive defenseman, which means he's really good on the power play. He's a top 4 defenseman on any NHL team, I believe. So keep him.
Now moving on to TJ Brody. Although he did not perform offensively, he did perform defensively for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He was steady with the puck. He knew where his other teammates were on the ice. You could tell he was not rattled when facing a forward charging him. So TJ Brody, very good defensive presence. He will stay. Now moving on to Justin Hall. Very impressive, very solid presence with the Toronto Maple Leafs. He had a very, very impressive plus-minus the following NHL season, and I feel that he will be a top 4 defenseman in the future Leaf squad, so he will stay.
Finally, we move on to the goalies. Jack Campbell, I think he's going to be the new Leaf starter. Fantastic goalie. He did really well in the first round and throughout the regular season, keeping Jack Campbell. Michael Hutchinson, yeah, some people don't really like him. I'm not too sure about him. But when he plays well, he can be a solid backup, so we'll keep Michael Hutchinson. And then Frederik Andersen, he's a UFA. I think it's going to be hard to re-sign him. He's going to be asking for a lot of money. And I don't know, things just aren't looking good for re-signing him. So that's Frederik Andersen. Now it's Seattle's turn. So the 3 players we think the Kraken are going to be targeting are defenseman Travis Dermott, forward Pierre Engel, and forward Alexander Kerfut.
Now, 3 very, very good players. They are playing in the NHL. However, they do not play to the caliber of some other Maple Leaf players. Starting off with Alexander Kerfut. Although a very important offensive force, he does not meet the tallies of Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, and William Nylander. The core. Now, Alexander Kerfut may be a new Seattle Kraken hockey club. Maybe this will be a new start for him where he can produce for this team.
Next up, we've got Pierre Engel. I don't know. He just doesn't really bring much to the table. I mean, he's a fast skater, I guess. But he's kind of like that 4th line AHL caliber hockey player. So I don't really think the Kraken are going to be targeting Engel, like making him as the actual pick. So that leaves us with defenseman Travis Dermott. He's a young defenseman with lots of potential. I think the Kraken can turn him into a really solid offensive defenseman and a defensive defenseman. So we believe the Seattle Kraken are going to select from the Toronto Maple Leafs Travis Dermott. And I think for them, this will really help the defensive core on the Kraken team, and this will be their 10th defenseman they select. All right, so this was our opinion on the Toronto Maple Leafs and who we think the Seattle Kraken are going to take from the Toronto Maple Leafs for the upcoming expansion draft.
Our Toronto Maple Leafs, we love the team. There's always next year, we say. There's always next year. Oh boy, that's a long time since Stanley Cup, 1967. Oh.
We're all waiting, we're all dreaming, we're all hoping.
However,
we're all believing.
All believing. However, this does not phase that. We love the game of hockey. We love our buds. We will never ever take them for granted. They're Canada's team, we believe. Some may not agree with us.
Yeah, Canadiens fans.
Anyway, if you've made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and if you really enjoyed it, please consider subscribing, sharing with your friends, and leave a comment down below if you agreed or disagreed with anything. And until next time, see ya!